everyone. In this video, we are going to understand how to create the JDBC connectivity. So JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. Let me explain you what is that and what is the purpose of it. So what we are going to learn here, JDBC, Java Database Connectivity. So what is the purpose of it? So before we understand that, first of all, to do this, we need to have Java in our system, and we need to have Eclipse IDE to write our program, and then we need to have MySQL connector. Okay, MySQL connector jar files we need. So we already know our system is having Java. So if you wanted to confirm that, just go to command prompt, type Java space hyphen version. Now, if you see, you'll be able to see the Java 16.0.2 is the version available on my system. So that means Java is available. And I have Eclipse on my system. So if you see, I have already opened my Eclipse. So if you wanted to know how to install Eclipse, you can go to our previous videos and look at that. And now we wanted to download the MySQL connector jars. So before I download that, first let me create a project. So how do you create? You can click on create Java project directly here, or you can go to file and then create a project. So first I'm going to click on file and then new and then Java project, and there I'm going to give the name as JDBC example project. Okay, now click on finish. So once you create this project, what you have to do is you have to add the connector. So before you do that, let me delete this, the module info.java, which is not required for us. You can delete and then create a new package. I'm just writing the new package name as right click new package com dot jdbc example.com. Okay, and click on, you can give any name. Okay, it is not necessary to have a JDBC example. Whatever the name you want, you can give, and click on finish. So once you create that, now what you're going to do is you are going to create a new class. So you just right click, create new, and then class. I'm going to write MySQL JDBC. This is the class I'm going to create, and click on public static void main and finish. So what I'm going to do is I have to establish a connection between this Java class and my database. So where is my database? If you look at, see here, I'll give you the links for how to install the MySQL server and MySQL workbench. Those were already covered in our previous videos. You can install that and you can launch the MySQL connector. So I'm going to open it one more time. See here. So if you wanted to open that, go to your start, and then there you will type MySQL workbench. See here, MySQL workbench is here, or else you can have it on your desktop. You can launch it from there. So just click on that, and then you will be able to see the connectivity. See here, so local instance MySQL. So what is that server name? Localhost is my server name. The port number is 3301. If you wanted to look at that, so just double click on it. Automatically you will connect to the server. Double click on it, and then it will ask for your password. I have given root as password. Click on that and then click on OK. Then you will be able to see your connector. So now what I wanted to do is I wanted to create one database. So let me go to the SQL wizard, and then I'll create one database first. How do we create a database? Create database. My database name, what I'm going to do is test DB. I'm going to give it as test DB, and then control enter. And once you do that, see here, create database test DB one row affected successfully. So if you wanted to see that, you can write a query called show databases. So whatever the databases you have, those will be shown. Just control enter and all the databases will be shown. See here we have employee database, we have all the databases. Along with that we have the database what we have just created now, that is testdb. Okay, so it has considered all the names as small case letters, so it is case sensitive. It is not case sensitive, you can give uppercase or lowercase, it will accept it. Okay, so testdb, when I say uppercase or lowercase, see here you have given T capital, DB capital, but still the database has considered as test DB. So you can write the name like whatever the way you want, it will consider it. So now what I wanted to do is I wanted to create one uh, table under my database. See here, this is when you go to schemas, you will be able to see the databases. If you click on refresh, you will see our database here. So now what I am going to do is I am going to create one table under my testdb. If you see under testdb, you will have tables. There you go and then right click, and then I'm going to create one new table. So right click and create table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the table with two fields. Let us say student is my table name, and then just click on this, and then you are going to have the columns. So I'll give ID. Every student will have ID, right? Just double click and then give the name as ID and make it as primary key. That means it is not null, and a what does it mean? It will not accept null values. Okay, and then student first name. And if you wanted to add more number of columns, that is fine, or else you just for testing purpose, we just wanted to understand what is JDBC connectivity. I have created only two columns and click on apply and then okay, and then see here the query will get generated automatically, and then click on apply, and then once that is done, click on finish. So now you can close this and then look at how the table will look like. So once you close it and then open the query and then select star from test db. So click on control enter, then you should able to see. See here you did not get it directly because you have not specified from which uh, sorry, here test db is your database dot student, that is your table. See here under testdb we have student table, student, and click on control enter, automatically your ID and first name will come. So this is generally you will be creating from the MySQL workbench. So you have created a table, you have created a database, and you have created a table, and I wanted to insert rows into this. Now how are we going to do is insert into your table name, that is your student table, insert into student values, and what is your first value? 1, and then the first name is Vijay, put it under single quotes Vijay and then colon. So now control enter, then the row will get affected. If you see at the bottom, the rows will get affected and you will be able to see that. So to do that, select star from student colon and control enter, automatically you should be able to see that. See, now this did not happen because we have to use the current database. So let's say I'll make use of use testdb, and then first I'll run this query, select this and then control enter, and after that see here one row got affected. After that I am going to execute this query, insert into student and then control enter. See here one row got affected, that means this has come. Again select and then run this, control enter, then you will be able to see one Vijay. See what happened. In the first case, I have specified the database name and then after that dot table name I have given. But when I'm trying to enter this, I did not specify my database name. So to tell your workbench to make use of testdb, first you have to execute the command use testdb, and after that whatever the commands you want you can write. So now what I wanted to do is I wanted to add one more record. Let us say I wanted to add one more record using this. Let us say my second record name is something like Ajay. So 2 and then that is Ajay. So now if I execute this line, then automatically I'll be able to see the Ajay record in my table. So now if you see Ajay got affected and then execute this line, and then you should be able to see the name. So now what is happening? Currently we are entering this manually. So without entering these things manually to this table, what we wanted to do is we wanted to run that using a program using our Java. So to do that, first we need to have Java in our system, we need to have Eclipse in our system, and also we need to have MySQL connector. MySQL connector is a jar file. So how do you download? You have to go to MySQL connector jar download. Just go to this page and then see here there will be products, and here you can come down and see there is one option for you to download MySQL connector, or else you can go to archives. See here you can select the latest version and then select platform independent and then download it. Then you will be able to see platform independent MySQL connector zip file. You click on download, then automatically it will get downloaded into your system. Okay, I have already downloaded this. See here. So MySQL connector I have already downloaded, and you go to that folder. So I have downloaded in my D drive. So go here and go to MySQL connector. I have kept it under softwares, MySQL connector, and here right click and then extract all and click on extract. Then your MySQL connector will be available here. So now what we wanted to do is we wanted to add this jar file to our library. So how are we going to do that? So we already know how to add jar files, external jar files to our Java project. So let us see how are we going to do that. So you go to your project. Once the download is done, let me show you the folder and then I'll go back to the Eclipse and then I'll show you that. So go to here and you select your project, right click and then build path, configure build path. There you can see there is an option for you to select the project, go to libraries. Let me scroll it down. Libraries and then go to class path and you go here, your MySQL connector is here. Go inside. See, this is what the file you require. You select this path, entire path, and then go to your Java project, add libraries, and sorry, add external library, add external library, and then give the path, select this, and then click on apply and close. Once that is done, now what we want to do is we wanted to write a simple program to establish a connection between our MySQL server and then your database. So there are a couple of steps you need to remember. First of all, what we are going to do is we are going to create the connection. So what do you mean by connection? I'll show you. First, you are going to create the connection, and after that, you will create the query or statement. You will create the statement or query, and then you will be executing that query, execute that query, and finally you are going to close the connection. Close the connection. Let me make it very clear to you. So let us say if I have to go to my MySQL workbench, if I have to create one table under this. So how did I do? First, you have to go to your workbench and then connect it to database. First of all, you have to open like this, and there your server name is localhost and then port number is 3306, and based on that you have given your user ID and you have connected to this. So that means you are going to make use of these names. So in the company what will happen, they will provide you one server name. So you have to give that server name here and the port name you have to provide. That means that is your current database of the application. And then you are going to click on OK button. There you will be able to see this place. That is what creating a connection. So that is the first step. And after that, create a statement. So what is create a statement? See here, insert into student values. So what we are trying to do, we are creating one statement, and this is our query, and we are going to execute the statement. That means once you execute this, then only the data will reflect into your database table. So the same thing we are going to use and do the same in our Java class also. How are we going to do that? Using a program. First, you need to make use of our built-in class, that is connection. Make it as CON as your object, and then you are going to write driver manager dot get connection. Get connection. So here, if you look at, you have to import the jars, the library. See, import connection java.sql. You import that, and here what you have to do is you have to write the correct connection string. What do you mean by connection string? So however the way you've connected here, the same information, the local host name, that is your server name, and the port number and your user ID and your password you have to provide there. So I'm going to give it as, so if you wanted to establish the connection for since we are using MySQL, we have to write first JDBC and then colon and then MySQL. It will vary from different databases. If it is Oracle, you will write Oracle. If it is DB2, you will be writing DB2. So that query will be different. For now, we are learning for MySQL. So JDBC MySQL 2 / your server name. That is your local host. So local host, and then the port number is 3306. So whatever the port number we have, that we have to provide 3306, and then you have to provide your database name. What is your database name here? You go here. So that is your database. TestDB is your database name. So TestDB. That means you are giving the connection. You are establishing the connection. And what is your user ID? Your user ID is root, and your password is also root for the MySQL server. So put them in double quotes and end the connection. So this is your first step. So hope you understand how to establish the connection. See here, if there is an error, just add the throws declaration automatically. SQL exception, if something comes up, that will take care. So now what I am going to do is, we are going to create one statement. So use one more class, built-in class statement, stmt. I am giving the name it as stmt is equal to, so whatever the object we have, con is our object, connection object, dot create statement. So create statement we are going to make use, and import this class also. Statement, you have to download only the import the class from java.sql. Okay, SQL or SQL, whatever you call. So now we wanted to write a query. So what is that query? So I'm going to write one query string. I'll name it as q is equal to, so I wanted to insert one more value into this database. See here we are writing it, right? So I'm just copying this query. Instead of doing it in Workbench, we are going to do it from Eclipse. So I'll write this query, insert into values. I'll make it as 3, and I'll write the person name as Sanjay. Okay. And then once you write the query, you just put it in double quotes and colon. Okay, so now what we are going to do is, after this, we are going to make use of this query stmt dot execute query, exequty, execute. What is your query? Q. It has come. And finally, what you are going to do is you are going to close the connection, con dot close. So now if you run this program, automatically it will affect the data. So run this program and see what is going to happen. So the query got executed, and now if you go to your MySQL and then you can type this query again and control enter, so you'll be able to see 3 Sanjay. It got updated. That means how did I do it? I have done it through JDBC connectivity. So this is what you are going to make use of your database connectivity and trying to connect to the database and write the query. So in the next session, next video, how are we going to do the insert, update, delete, and select from the same class? So how are we going to make use of this class and how to do that? So with this, you'll be able to connect to the database and write the query and read the values also. It can be done. So we will see that in the next video.